How's it going, everybody? It's me, Shane. I'm here to give you another Spy Family episode recap and review. Today's episode is episode 16, Yours Kitchen and the Informant's Romance Plan. I believe that's the name of the. It's two separate adventures in one. Trust me, I almost spoiled the end of my review. Before I go forward, please hit the like button, leave a comment down below, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be notified of more videos just like this one. Oh, the Informant's Great Romance Plan. There we go. So, where do we begin? Excuse me. This episode starts with, Loid is starting to notice that Yor's coming in late. Her hands are cut up, got a lot of blood on them. And, Anya is like, him and her, they don't dig into each other's personal life. And Anya asks, when we're going to have dinner? I'm hungry. And he's like, oh, we're going to wait for Yor to come in. And so she has Bond's face and just shaking him like, when is mama, what's for dinner? Tell me, because he can predict the future, right? And so Yor gets in, and Loid knows her expression is gloomy and somber. He can, he notices the band-aids and stuff on her hand. She almost looks like Killer Yor. We all seen Killer Yor, right? And he's like, all right, we can start dinner. She's like, I'm not hungry. You guys can eat without me. And Loid starts thinking, he's like, Yor, are you, ... It makes you think he's going, are you stepping out? Now, granted, their relationship technically is more like a partnership, right? But we all know, come on, we know these feelings are developing. They're slowly developing, right? Excuse me. And Bond shows Anya an image of Yor crying. And she's wondering, Ma's about to cry in her room right now. And when Yor gets in her room, she thinks, if I fail, I might lose them. I'm like, oh, she's going through some top secret stuff. So at Yor's office, everything's wrapping up. People going home. Camilla, remember the blonde one who tried to call her out in episode 1? He's like, oh no, I got a date thing to do, and everybody leaves. So Yor, with a somber expression, goes into a butcher shop, leaves out. She has a bag, and it's red stuff just dripping from this bag. And she comes to this door. Same expression she had when she walked in her house. Rings the bell. It's Camilla. She's like, so you're still going to do this? And she's like, yes. You're like, you crushed the tomatoes. Oh, no. And Mr. Boyfriend, I think his name's Brian. Mr. Boyfriend comes in 3 days ago. 3 days ago, Yor is asking all the girls, hey, I might lose my husband because my food had sent him to the bathroom and made him really sick. Remember our last 3 episodes? And she's asking if any of them can teach her how to cook. And Camilla kind of walks off like, take a class. And Sharon, she goes, the maid does all the cooking for us. And the young one goes, I can open cans. And so as she's, Yor's lamenting, all of a sudden, Boyfriend comes in and says, actually, Camilla cooks really good. She could help you. And she's just like, don't volunteer me. You know what? Fine. And so they come in. She gets invited in. And she's like, yeah, well, you know what? You're going to be the one that's tasting the food this time. Remember, this was 3 days ago. So now we're in present. And he's like, actually, I brought someone in for that. And it's Yuri. Everybody, Yuri is back. And he's ready. He's shaking everybody's hand. He's super bubbly when it comes to his sister. And Camilla even goes, hey, he seems really different than his picture. So, she also says to him, I don't want Loid or Anya to know I'm cooking. I want to learn how to cook. I want this to be in secret. Of course, he's upset because she's learning how to cook for Loidy. Excuse me. All right. So she has a bunch of stuff that she really doesn't need. And Camilla's like, what is with this extra stuff besides the ingredients? There's a freaking cactus on the table. She's like, I wanted to try different ingredients. And so she's like, all right, go ahead and peel the potatoes. And there's blood in everything. She's like, why is it every time there's bloodshed when you do this? And she's like, I don't know how to use these weapons. Potato peel is not a weapon. But I'm good with the knife. And of course, yes, she's good with a knife. So she's chopping at high speed. And Camilla's like, yo, calm down or you're going to slice them too thin. And she ends up cutting the cutting board. Yor can give Roanora Zoro a run for his money when it comes to slicing. So now she keeps messing up everything. And she's worried. She's like, Loid's going to divorce me. And then she's thinking, oh, man, if I get divorced, then I won't be able to keep killing. I got to keep my marriage, right? And I think someone jokes and goes, yeah, that might be best because you're not really doing very well. And and what's his name? Yuri's thinking like, yeah, divorce him. And she's like, she needs this. She really needs to learn how to cook. She doesn't want to leave her husband. And so she looks really sad. And the Camilla goes, all right, fine. And dude is like, she can be nice but she's just prickly. And Yor's like, she's always nice because Yor's a bit of an airhead. And of course, Camilla turns around and goes, hey, like, stop talking about me. Which is funny that Yor's the only person that doesn't notice this. So when she's done cooking, her food is a deep bluish purple. And they're like, Yuri, you're up. He eats it. He's actively spewing while eating it. He's like, it's so good. And Camilla's like, you're throwing up while you're eating it, though. And so Brian, taste it. And they're dead on the floor, like, ugh. And Yor's like, no. And so she says, Yuri's like, what is it? She says, how about this? You're not ready for minestrone, right? So cook a meatball. She cooks a meatball. Yuri eats it, and he's actively dying, saying, oh, I think I see the afterlife. I see mom. And Camilla figures out, oh, that's right. You two didn't have parents. She's like, your taste buds are horrible because of this train wreck over here. Now, here's the funny part. Earlier, I know I skipped over this earlier. She's being so rude to Yor. Yuri's like, what is with her? Why is she so rude? I could execute her. I love that is his go-to plan when he's worried about anybody mistreating her. Execution. So, anywho, she asked them, do you remember any dishes that your parents cooked at all? And Yor's having a hard time. She asks Yuri, and he remembers a stew that had a fried egg on it. And Yor's like, oh, yeah, that's true. And so Camilla's like, remember the taste of that. Remember how all that felt. And let's just try to make that. And so she goes ahead. She makes the stew. She's a chopping machine. She's taking notes. She's listening carefully. And so she makes the stew. And it's like, all right, well, it smells all right. But while she's chopping it, she says, she's always called her senpai, by the way. Regardless of how rude she is, she always calls her senpai. That is very, even though this is supposed to be Eastern Europe setting, it's very telling because it shows that she still is showing her respect, even though being disrespectful. So it's an interesting norms kind of thing. Just something I pay attention to. She says, yeah, senpai, you seem different. You're less robotic and less boring now. She's like, oh, maybe it's because I got married. And she's like, hey, don't be sitting up here humbly bragging. Maybe it's just your makeup. Of course, yours like good men inside, just chopping up everything. And I love that homeboy comes, puts his arm around Camilla and's like, hey, don't worry about it. You're a lovely lady too. Which makes this dude knows how to melt her. Because throughout this whole episode, he is just melting her and breaking her down. He is the perfect boyfriend for her. Or at least they've grown to understand one another, at least. And so, tells her don't be jealous, makes her blush. Her food smells good for once. It looks like regular food. She tastes it. It's not bad. They both taste it, and they're like, okay, well, it tastes like something's missing. Where are you from? She's from East Nielberg. What the hell is Nielberg? I don't know. And she says, so you're from the deep, from, I don't want to say deep south, but you're from the south. Okay. So maybe if you put some sour cream in it, because usually a lot of people out there like to put sour cream in their food. When they put sour cream in it, her and Yuri eat it, instant nostalgia. It's perfect. Cool. And this is very cute. It's just, they say their goodbyes, and Camilla's exhausted. Brian looks at her. He's like, I'm just admiring how cute you are. And she's like, shut up. And in that moment, she does seem very cute. So good on her for not being a total asshole. Anywho, so Loid is training Bond, and he's like, yeah, he's very intelligent. He just got to teach him defense training next, right? Anya has X's for eyes, which is hilarious because she's like, I'm hungry. And he's like, well, we'll wait for Yor's finally home. And so Yor, with determination in her eyes, goes, I'm going to make dinner. With determination in her eyes, is like, I'm going to make dinner. And that makes both of them do their shock face. Because you know what? Yor did a shock face earlier, too. I love what they did, just say shock. So she reveals that she was learning how to cook in secret. And she made the fried egg. Fried egg was kind of messed up, but who cares? Food looks edible. Anya and Loid are both like getting ready to eat this. And Loid's like, all right, well, it looks edible. And Anya's like, Anya is having her last supper. They both eat it. They love it. Delicious, yummy is what they both say. And she's eating it. And Yor is crying because, you know, she thought she needed to protect this life so she can keep on doing her assassination gig. But just having them acknowledge her and seeing them happy, seeing them smile simply makes her happy. We're getting deeper and deeper into those emotional ties. And so she even says openly she feels more confident in being the mother and wife of the Forger house. And Loid says, hey, I'm going to keep depending on you from here on in. And so she comes up with another dish, an original dish she made, and it puts them on the floor. Now that's where this half of the episode ends. The next half of the episode is dedicated to Franky, Informant's great romance plan. He has Loid meet him in the alley. He's smoking a cigar. He tells him, I'm in love with a girl. He promptly walks off. He's like, look, I need your help. Don't make me sell your identity, says secret police, which makes Loid have this big death glare shock look in his eyes. You don't see his face because he's wearing this nice little trench coat and just looks at him. He's like, look, I'm kidding. You said you wanted a recording listening device, right? I'll make it for you. I'll just throw it in there. Just help me. All right. This moment is all funny because you can tell how serious Franky is. And so they're at this cafe. The target's name is Monica McBride. She works at a cigar shop. She's 25. Birthday September 20th. Blood type is O. 162 centimeters tall. 46 kilograms is her weight. She lives with her mother and younger sister. And she loves watching movies. Her favorite movie is Berlint. And her childhood nickname is Mopey. And Loid looks distraught. He's like, you're a stalker. He's like, don't you dare judge me. You look up details too. And he's like, yeah, I do it for work. And he calls him a dumbass. He's like, dumbass, you do everything when you're in love to find out who you're trying to talk to. And he's like, you found out this much on your own. You should be fine. Calls him a dumbass again. It's like, I'm expert at data. When you do stuff, I don't even like cigars. And I'm just doing this so I can see her every day, that's the cute part. And he's like, I need mercy. All right. Just give me mercy. And so Loid picks up things like, all right, I'll come up with a plan. Now, mind you, apparently they're whispering, but for us, it seems like they're yelling. But the thing said they're whispering because he says intelligence has separate departments, one for data, one for gathering, one for data gathering, one for assessing, one for analyzing, which is, I guess he needs help analyzing, come up with the plan, right? And so Loid made a conversation flowchart that he needs to study by asking questions, and the representation of it is massive. And he's like, you dumbass, I can't do that. And he's like, all right. He says, I just need an idiot proof scenario. And he's like, well, I can dress up and guide you. He's like, or you can practice with me. He's like, I don't want to do it, but all right, let's do it. Loid still disguised himself as Miss Monica McBride, and they practice. They go back and forth. We don't hear the practice, but they practice. And he's like, all right, I'm going to leave. I'll give you the report later. He's like, I don't need the report, but okay. And he's just looking at him like, man, he looks like he's on death's door. I hope he can do this. So he goes to the club. She remembers Franky, Mr. Scruffy Face Franky. And all right, so now the Forger family, they're on their way to an outing, according to Anya. And they're going to go to an obstacle course. And they happen to walk past Franky. So they know it's Franky. First of all, I'm loving his orange socks. And I'm loving the orange and white tie that came along with it. And so they're going to go over and greet him. I love the fact that Anya looks both ways before crossing the street. Good girl, Anya. Good girl. So starts to talk to him, talk to each other. Loid's like, oh, didn't you have a thing? Oh, like, oh yeah, my date. Well, you know, she said her gas was on and blah, 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 blah. This is after Anya says they're supposed to be going to an obstacle course. And he talks about she left her gas on and they'll meet up later, XYZ, right? And Loid has the sweat drop on his face. So he can tell it's bullshit. I'm sorry, anytime someone goes, oh, she went to go turn off the gas in our house. And Anya's mind reading powers, the sound effect is going off. And she just touches his hand with a tear in her eye because she knows it went horrible. And he's like, what are you looking at me like that for? So now he's at a bar, he's drinking, he's upset. She said no, and she based it on looks, he said. He asked the bartender for another cheap beer. And the bartender was going to say something to him, but he's like, look, excuse me, I don't want to hear it. I'm broke and I'm girlfriendless. And so he gives him a Macallan 18-year on the rocks, an expensive whiskey. And he's like, I didn't order this expensive stuff. He's like, the guy over there ordered for him. And Loid, 2 seats down from him. And he moves over. Loid has the same drink. And it's so cute. It's just, that instantly made me go, aw. Loid's a bro. And he asks him if he's there to laugh at him. He's like, no, just here to talk to you. Like, what happened to obstacle course and yours taken care of? He's like, you here to make fun of me? Anyway, and then Loid spews this BS that Franky had said to him before. You said it yourself. People like us, can't become emotionally attached to others. Even if you did go out, it probably wouldn't work. And he's like, so says the dude with a wife and kid. Hey, that's from my mission. And just even everyone can smell the bullshit. It's supposed to be for the mission, but I'm looking, interject within myself for a minute. I'm looking forward to somewhere down the line in this series where these two realize they have feelings, and then somehow Anya spills the beans on who they both are, and it's going to be some type of turmoil. It's going to be a little bit of turmoil, right? But then they realize, I actually love this person. I'm waiting for that, and I hope that's not how the series ends. I hope the series continues forth from there. Even though this comedy of errors of everyone trying to keep their secrets, the dog can't really reveal his secrets, but everyone trying to keep their secrets is pretty adorable. Anyway, Franky goes, I'm going to get drunk on your dime today. And Loid just kind of smiles and says, I'm going to keep you company. This episode end, adorable. Next mission, Full Metal Lady, which means we're finally getting Loid's version of Yuri, the woman that wants him, and carry out the Griffin plan. We see something with Damien going on, so who knows? But what would I give this, my rating for this episode? And I know I said the last 3 were 5s. The lowest I'll go is 4.5, but this is honestly a 5 for me because I like these little episodes. They're showing the interconnectivity of their relationships, showing how far YOR'S willing to go to make her family happy. And she says it's to, continue her loved profession of assassination. But we all know it's a little bit deeper than that. And just seeing more Franky, getting the feeling that him and Loid aren't just work buddies. This seems like they're actually friends. I love it. I like it. Warms my heart. This is an episode that I would put in. It would go in my top 10 as of right now. This is definitely an episode that you can rewatch over and over again. So gets a 5 from me. That might be a bias. The lowest I'm willing to go is 4.5 because this is actually pretty good. This reminds me a lot of the Bondman episode with Loid Man episode at the castle and the drunk Yor. This is kind of what that reminded me of, and I'm happy to say that was actually one of my favorite episodes as well. It's actually the one episode I remember the most, and another episode I would play over and over again if given the opportunity. So let me know what you thought in the comment section down below. Please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be notified of more videos just like this one. As always, thank you for taking some time out to listen to me talk about this show. It's such a good palate cleaner, especially watching Bleach and Chainsaw Man, where there's a lot of death. I mean, there people, there's assassins and spies, and they shoot people and stab people and all that other stuff. But it isn't as it's presented in an action kind of way. Like when we get to those moments, they're heavy, but we wrap everything up so nicely. And this isn't one of the, where things can have nice happy endings and there's silver linings. It's a nice palate cleanser. You need those. Can't watch grim, dark, kill, blood, kill all the time, right? Well, as always, guys, please be good, be blessed. Wash those hands. Be good to yourself, be good to others. Either way it goes, don't be a jerk. Take care of yourself, please. Just be safe out there. Remember, there's someone who wants to talk to you today instead of crying about you tomorrow. So you're never alone, all right? And until next time, I will definitely see you guys. What if the next... a little food for thought. Next episodes are going to be Loid specific, and then I guess Damon specific? Man, we'll have to see. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time.